everyone, it's Lizzie and welcome back to my channel. This is paycheck number 2 for August, and let's just get into how we break down our budget using the cash envelope system and a zero-based budget. So let's get into it. Okay, it is the 12th pay, and if you're new here, I am not sharing our true pay numbers. I'm only going to be, or our tithe, I'm only going to be sharing the remaining amount that we are breaking down in the budget. So right now, the remaining amount that we are budgeting out for is $900. And from the $900, we are going to be giving a blessing that is like an offering above and beyond our tithe. So $50 is going to our blessing, and I've highlighted it because we are taking that out in cash. So $850 is what is left over after separating the tithe and the blessing. So now we move on to our fixed expenses, and that's this right here. And for our fixed expenses, I like to break things up paycheck to paycheck. So whether you are paid weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, you can utilize a bill tracker system so that way it can simplify your budget and not cause you to be like super overwhelmed. And so that's what this paycheck or this worksheet is right here, the bill tracker. So how I use this is you write up all of your expenses, the total amount due, and then you divide it up paycheck to paycheck. So for example, the first of the month, we have our rent and our MediShare. So on the first of the month, those two items are due. So obviously by the end of the month, we want to make sure that we have the total amount set aside in our bank account. We don't physically withdraw the cash for these particular expenses because it just is a little bit more convenient for us to leave it in the bank account, but we do split up the bills and we keep it in our bank account. We allocate it for that particular expense. And so this is how we visually can see that. So having the money ready to be paid by the first, we need to make sure that we have the full amount funded on the last paycheck of the prior month. So with the $316, you're going to see that we divided it up by 4 up here. And on this day, this is the last payday that we are going to receive before the 1st of September. So I highlighted it so that I can visually see we need to have the total amount in the bank for that bill. So we did that for each of our expenses, as you can see here. So you can see on any given day, we need to have these bills ready in the bank so that it gets auto paid out of it. So by dividing it into the paychecks, it's not as overwhelming for us when we are ready to pay that bill. And then in conjunction with this bill tracker, I do have another app on my phone that we track so that way we know what we have remaining to complete the bill. So that's this app right here. It is called NV. It's a free app to use, and when we set the money aside for these bills, it's usually the bigger ones that I have here, like the rent, car insurance, electric, our MediShare. But the smaller ones, I don't use this app because they're small transactions. So with the paycheck budget, I'll go through each of these columns for the corresponding payday, and I will mark off the amounts that we have already discussed, how much we are going to be allocating for that particular expense. So if you got it so far, I hope that this is helpful, then let me know by saying I got it in the comments down below, or it makes sense. Hopefully it does. So With the paycheck, I will go through that column, and that's where I got these numbers from. Now we do want to start making it an important focus for us to build up our checking account cushion. And so what that is, it's just something that is above what we are already setting aside for the bills. So we don't want to have our checking account be $0 just in case something may change with these bills that we didn't account for and we don't go negative in the bank account. So we want to have like a little buffer in that. So the total fixed expenses that we have here is $622.13. This has caused us to have a remaining balance of $227.87. So we are trying to give ourselves enough room to be able to save and also do like regular spending. We want to be realistic, and so we have been big believers of living within percentages. And we got this and learned it from Jordan Page, and it has really made a big impact in our finances. So that way we know we try not to go over a certain dollar amount. So for this, we're trying not to go over spending more than about, I think it was like $800 or so. We always round up. So it was roughly $800 that we don't want to spend. What goes out of our bank account, what goes out of our cash envelopes. So we're trying to be within that amount. Since we've already allocated, what was it, $622, if we take the $800 that we are trying not to go over, and we subtract the $622, we have about $178 to break down into the variable spending that we have. So realistically, we will do like personal spending, and then for like my husband and myself, if we decide to use our personal spending for eating out, we will do that, and it will just be our personal spending that I will mark in our calendar tracking for our weekly check-in. We just use that however we see fit, but these are the categories that we are allocating for our variable spending. So my husband, we just transfer his spending into his bank account for him to manage. And then the other highlighted categories you see here are ones that we physically withdraw cash out for. So we have our gas, grocery, my personal spending, and then my husband's trainer. So the trainer is kind of a quote unquote sinking fund, but it's not a sinking fund, it's a bill. I don't know. So we do take that out, and then $150 is what is paid to his trainer every 2 weeks. So from this, $175 is being, set aside for these variable spending, and that is less than what we want to spend here based on the calculator. So that is great. That's really why I love utilizing percentages. It just gives us a guide and a way to not go over budget. All right, so that's great. So $52.87 is what we have remaining to break down into savings and other goals. So this is where my husband and I will come together and we'll have a discussion and ask, what is the biggest goal of ours right now? Where would we want all of these funds to be allocated for this season, this time in our life? And this is where you weigh what is your highest priority, and that is where you can apply the remaining funds. So we're not stuffing, I say stuffing, we're not adding to our sinking funds as much. We don't have a lot of different categories because this is a little bit of a lower pay for us in this time, which is fine. So our highest priority right now is adding to our car maintenance because we know something is wrong with my car. We don't have as much in that account as we would like, but we want to just add a little bit more just in case. And then we also want to contribute to our Christmas fund. So $38.50 is what is going to these particular savings. And then that leaves $14.37 left. And we are going to apply that to our emergency fund because that is a big, important part in our finances right now. Again, there's something wrong with my car and it has to be looked at. So that is where we have made the decision to apply it. So even if you don't have all of these sinking funds and your goals written on your paycheck, that is okay. Go with what is most important, and that is how we broke down this paycheck budget. So for the cash that we are going to be taking out is only the highlighted amounts, and that is the 175 minus the 10, and then we're adding in the $50. So $215 is what we are going to be taking out of the bank to stuff cash envelopes. And so I have my teller slip already written in here. We will go to stuffing our cash envelopes, my blessing, and also adding up what has been allocated for our bills, and then these sinking funds. So let me head to the bank and then we'll get to stuffing our cash envelopes. Okay, so I just got back from the bank and I had provided this teller slip for exactly how I wanted the cash to be broken down. So $215 is what we had withdrawn to stuff my regular cash envelopes as well as one of my sinking funds. So let's go ahead and just make sure and face our cash. But a lot of ones is what we got going on, but that is perfectly okay with me. So we have 50, 100, 120, 40, 60, 170, 180, 190, 195, 200, 205, 6, 7, 8, 9, 210, 11, 12, 13, 14, 215. Okay, so as I organize my money, I want to talk to you guys about this show. And I've mentioned it a couple of times over on my Instagram, but it is the show called The Chosen. And if you have not yet watched that show, you're missing out. You have to watch this show. It is about the gospel, and it sounds boring. It sounds like something that you won't be entertained by, or that is just like not intriguing, but watch it. I promise you, you are going to be so amazed by just how they depict the gospel, how they depict Jesus and just his character and his love. And I was absolutely moved by how the director Dallas, how he just portrayed Jesus and his disciples, and just everything about the show is incredible. I cried during every single episode. I'm not gonna lie. I cried the entire time. It was just so moving. So if you have seen it already, let me know what your favorite episode was and just what your response is for the show. I know that they've received a lot of hate and judgment because of the show. I personally love it. It's my favorite show of all time. I have to say it is my favorite show. So I'd love to know what you guys think, but if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to just go and watch it. It's free. It's not on any network, like your standard network like Netflix, Hulu, or cable. It's its own app through Angel Studios. So just download the app. You can watch it for free, but it is incredible. It is so amazing. I'd love to know what you guys think about it if you do end up watching it. So just had to share that while we're getting this set up. So let's just get to stuffing, and we are going to be first starting off with our sinking fund. I'm just gonna go this way. So we are stuffing our blessing envelope, and I have that in this pouch here. So that's the only one that we're going to be stuffing for our cash sinking fund. And sometimes you can only stuff one, sometimes you can't stuff any, and that is okay. The point is you are trying to make it a habit to at least save a little bit at a time, whatever you're able to do. So we are currently going to be stuffing $50 in this envelope, and it's just going to be a $50 bill. I believe that's what I wrote down. Let's see. Yep. So just a $50 bill is going in here. So I have my 50, and there's some money in here. So right now there is $56 in this envelope. So let me just get a pen. So today is, and we added 50. So there's $56 in this envelope. And let me put this away. Oops. Hello. The light just went out. No! Sorry, my light just died on me, so the lighting is probably going to be a little wonky compared to what it was earlier. Hopefully, it's not too distracting. So, as far as like shows go, it's always difficult for me to like really get into a show, and I just don't like sexual scenes and a lot of cussing, and I don't know, like I'm just very particular when it comes to certain shows. I don't like them to be so vulgar. All right, so let's get into this portion, and this is the bills. So I'm just gonna go through this in order. So MetaShare, we've set aside some funds, so $79 is going to MetaShare. So I'm just gonna put this in my app that we're putting $79 in here. So right now we've done two $79 transactions. So right now we have $158. In our MetaShare, so that way we can fund that, which is great. Let me actually zoom you guys in just a bit. Our rent, we had set aside $375. So I'm gonna go into this rent section here on my app, and this is where I track all of these expenses. So far we've allocated $750 towards our rent. Our electric bill, the remaining amount is actually $37.94. I know right here it says 38 as the remaining, but it's actually a little bit less. So I'm just gonna put for insurance, I'm just gonna put the 38 since this doesn't accept like cents. So we're fully covered for insurance, or excuse me, for the electric. I don't know why I wrote insurance there, which it's fine. So we're fully funded for that. So the actual amount for this was, I believe, $194. So now is our car insurance, and it's $83.49. On my app, it shows $84 as the remaining amount. Again, it doesn't account for cents, so we did budget for the full insurance amount. So we're good with the insurance now. And insurance came out to be $168.49. And so we have the full amount set there. The life insurance, this is the $12.70. And then for the water here we have $24 being allocated for that. So water, we're putting $24. So right now we have $48 allocated for our water, which is great. And then for our remaining amount, for our cushion, we right now have this available after paying all of the bills, tithing, withdrawing the cash. There's $13.80. So just so you know, the app that I'm using is not an app that physically transfers the money between your accounts. It's just a tracking app for me. So now we're gonna get into our cash envelopes. We did transfer $10 into my husband's account, which is great. And we're gonna get into stuffing these daily cash envelopes. So I have my new envelopes here. I did switch from my dividers, which are these ones that I had. I switched from those to these ones, so I'm excited. These ones are from the Planning Dancer. So yeah, we're just gonna get to stuffing these ones. So eating out, we are not stuffing eating out. But gas is getting $10, and I know I have money in here, and I'm just gonna roll that over for the following week. So we are stuffing $10 for that. So the balance now is $20. So I'm just gonna take a $10 bill, and we now have $20. All right, groceries is getting 75, and I think I broke this down into, let's see, 2 20s, 2 10s, 2 5s, and 5 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 20, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 71, 2, 3, 4, 75. So $75. I do have money left over from the prior time. I have $5. So I'm just gonna keep this for the upcoming week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with the 75, we have $80. So we're adding 75. So this gives us $80. So $20 we have in gas and $80 we have in groceries. Spending, miscellaneous is getting nothing. Oops. Goodness. Miscellaneous is getting nothing. Spending is getting $5, and there's nothing in there right now. So $5 is what's going in here. I'm just gonna get a $5 bill. I believe it was just a $5 bill. Nope, 5 ones. Put that back. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you hear my dog snoring in the background, I apologize. So we have $5 there. And then the last thing is the trainer. So let me put this back in my wallet. And I just have this little flap here, and it fits nicely for me to close this. So that's how I'm using this wallet for these envelopes. All right, so now we have my husband's trainer, and that's actually back in this pouch. It's this last one here. So this is getting the last $75 cash, and this should complete the $150, so that way he can pay him this upcoming week. So let's just organize this. So we have added the 75, and there should be 150. So let's organize this. All right, so we have 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, 135, 140, 145, 150. So now he can go ahead and just take this cash and pay the trainer come Monday. And that will be for every 2 weeks. Okay, so he has the 150. That's completed. Now we have these sinking funds, and these are the ones that are on our online bank. And how we track these is through another app. It's called the Simple Budget Envelope app. Again, what we do with this is we have our money for our sinking funds in one specific savings account, and then this is how we break it down so that we know what is supposed to be for, you know, this particular savings category. So that's how we do it. And in our bank account, it allows us to break it into buckets, so that way we're able to actually see it on the bank, how it's supposed to be broken down. But this is just for tracking purposes only. So $33.50 is going into our car maintenance. So I'm just going to put the date and put $33.50. Add, there is $75 for car maintenance. Not a whole lot, but it's something. It's getting us to a place that we will feel comfortable. And then for Christmas, we are adding $5. I'm just gonna put the date and add 5. So we now have $610 for Christmas. Moving on to emergency. So I have emergency right here. We're adding $14.37. So I'm gonna put the date and $14.37. So currently there is a balance of $4,475.91 in our emergency fund. So we still are not where we want to be, but we're better than what we were before, and that is the important thing. That is everything for my budget breakdown for paycheck number 2. I really hope that this just encouraged you to try to get on a written budget and do it in a way that makes sense to you and your family. And sorry about the lighting, technical issues, but hopefully you guys got the full idea and the gist of how I break down our budget utilizing a zero-based budget, cash envelopes, and online savings. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys right here in a brand new video. Bye guys.